Swearing in of the ministers.
Tonight's ceremony will see the swearing in of 14 ministers. There are no major changes to the lineup, with all appointees retaining their current portfolios.
The Chief Justice will now administer the affirmation of allegiance and the affirmation for due execution of office. The affirmation of allegiance.
I, please state your name.
I,
Having been appointed to the office of minister, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore, and that I will preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore.
The affirmation for due execution of office.
I, please state your name.
I,
Being chosen and appointed as Minister of Singapore, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will at all times faithfully discharge my duties as Minister according to law, and to the best of my knowledge and ability, without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
Signing of the affirmations. Presentation of instruments of appointment. Dr. Ng En Hen, Minister for Defence. Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan, Minister for Foreign Affairs. Mr. K. Shanmugam, Minister for Home Affairs and Minister for Law. Ms. Grace Fu Hsien, Minister for Sustainability and the Environment. Mr. Chan Chun Sing, Minister for Education. Mr. Masago Zulkifli, Minister for Social and Family Development and Second Minister for Health. Mr. Ong Yi Kang, Minister for Health. Mrs. Josephine Teo, Minister for Communication and Information and Second Minister for Home Affairs. Mr. Desmond Lee, Minister for National Development. Ms. Indrani Raja, Minister, Prime Minister's Office, Second Minister for Finance, and Second Minister for National Development. Dr. Muhammad Maliki bin Osman, Minister, Prime Minister's Office, Second Minister for Education, and Second Minister for Foreign Affairs. Mr. Edwin Tong, Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, and Second Minister for Law. Dr. Tan See Leng, Minister for Manpower and Second Minister for Trade and Industry. Mr. Chee Hong Tat, Minister for Transport and Second Minister for Finance.
The appointees there receiving their instruments from the President. This group of people, of course, now form the new cabinet for the incoming Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. In making his outline for the people that he would choose, he had said just days ago that he intended, for the purpose of that, to be continuity and for renewal as well. Other appointments, of course, have been made by the incoming Prime Minister, and they include
swearing in of the Ministers of State.
And there they are, rising from the second and third rows there of the front block. Tonight, 9 senior ministers of state and 5 ministers of state will be sworn in, and they include Ms. Loh Yen Ling and Mr. Desmond Tan, who've just been promoted to senior ministers of state.
The Chief Justice will now administer the affirmation of allegiance and the affirmation for due execution of office. The affirmation of allegiance.
I, please state your name. Having been appointed to the office of Minister, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore, and that I will preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore.
The affirmation for due execution of office.
I, please state your name. Being chosen and appointed as Minister of Singapore, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will at all times faithfully discharge my duties as Minister according to law and to the best of my knowledge and ability, without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
Signing of the affirmations. Presentation of instruments of appointment. Mr. Heng Chi Hao, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Defense. Dr. Amy Koh Lian Swan, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment and Ministry of Transport. Ms. Sim N, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of National Development. Dr. Janil Puducherry, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Communications and Information and Ministry of Health. Dr. Koh Po Kun, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Manpower and Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment. Mr. Zaki Muhammad, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Manpower. Mr. Tan Kit Hao, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Communications and Information and Ministry of National Development. Ms. Lo Yen Ling, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and Ministry of Trade and Industry. Mr. Desmond Tan, Senior Minister of State, Prime Minister's Office. Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Faisal bin Ibrahim, Minister of State, Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of National Development. Ms. Sun Xueling, Minister of State, Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Social and Family Development. Ms. Gan Xiaohuang, Minister of State, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Manpower. Mr. Elvin Tan, Minister of State, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and Ministry of Trade and Industry. Ms. Rahayu Mazam, Minister of State, Ministry of Communications and Information and Ministry of Health.
You've just seen there the 9 senior ministers of state and 5 ministers of state signing their affirmations,
Mr. President,
as well as receiving
ladies and gentlemen,
their
the Prime Minister
of office.
Mr. President, colleagues and friends, my fellow Singaporeans, I am deeply honored to be sworn in as the Prime Minister of Singapore. Tonight, we are joined by Singaporeans from all walks of life. You embody the rich fabric of our nation. Students and teachers, unionists and business leaders, athletes and artists, community volunteers and frontliners. Whether you are here physically at the Istana or watching from home, your presence is felt and deeply appreciated. I seek your support and your trust. My team and I will do our utmost to serve you and our country. Let me say a few words in Malay and Mandarin before I continue in English. Saudara-saudari sekalian, malam ini saya mengambil alih sebagai Perdana Menteri daripada Encik Lee. Saya berasa rendah diri dan berbesar hati kerana diamanahkan dengan tanggungjawab ini. Saya berikrar untuk berkhidmat sebaik mungkin bagi semua rakyat Singapura. Kita hidup dalam dunia yang sering bergelora dan tidak menentu. Walaupun masa hadapan semakin mencabar, terdapat juga banyak peluang baharu. Sebagai rakyat yang bersatu padu, saya yakin kita boleh merebut peluang-peluang tersebut demi membina Singapura yang lebih baik. Sebagai Perdana Menteri, saya akan turun padang, mendekati rakyat dan bekerja keras untuk memperbaik mutu kehidupan anda. Ayo kita berganding bahu dan bersatu hati untuk sama-sama melangkah masa hadapan baharu yang lebih cerah bagi semua. Terima kasih. 各位同胞，我很荣幸能接替李显龙先生出任我国总理，以这个新的身份继续为人民服务。在未来的日子里，我将竭尽所能担起这项重任。这些年来，李先生为新加坡鞠躬尽瘁，做出了很多贡献。我从政以后，他就像我的良师，悉心指导我。作为我的内阁同僚，他也不断的支持和鼓励我。我很感激他答应继续留在内阁，他将为我和我的团队提供宝贵的意见和看法。新加坡今天的成就，是历任领导班子及我国人民辛苦耕耘的成果。我和多数第四代领导团队是在国家独立后出生的，我们十分感谢先辈们无私的付出和贡献，而我们会在这个基础上继续全力以赴，再接再厉。我们知道前方的路将出现新的挑战，也会有新的问题需要我们处理。这是因为如今的世界动荡不安，我国的社会需求也正在不断的变化。但是我相信，只要全民团结一致，我们就能灵活的应变，积极的以新的思维和方法来克服挑战，为国人创造更美好的生活。新加坡故事的下一个篇章正等着我们一起去谱写。我和我的团队将和全体国人携手合作，群策群力，让我们大家肩并肩，一起推动新加坡向前迈进，为你我以及我们的子孙后代打造一个更美好的家园，一个更灿烂的未来。谢谢。Today marks a significant milestone, a passing of the baton, not just between leadership teams, but also across generations. I am the first Prime Minister of Singapore to be born after independence. Almost all my colleagues in the 4G team were also born after 1965. My generation's story is the story of independent Singapore. Our lives are testimony to the values that forged our nation. Incorruptibility, meritocracy, multiracialism, justice and equality. These principles are deeply ingrained in all of us. We understand the vital importance of good leadership, political stability, and long-term planning. We ourselves are the beneficiaries of the imaginative policies of our founding fathers, pursued resolutely and patiently over decades. Shaped by these experiences, our leadership style will differ from that of previous generations. We will lead in our own way. We will continue to think boldly and think far. We know that there is still much more to do. For the story of our island nation continues to unfold. There are many more pages to write, and the best chapters of our Singapore story lie ahead. As we write the next chapters, we are not starting from scratch. We stand on the shoulders of giants. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew and his team led us through independence and established the key pillars of governance. Mr. Goh Chok Tong and his team took us through the next lap and nurtured a kinder and gentler society. These are important foundations we will build on. Tonight, I record our nation's gratitude and my own to Mr. Hsien Loong. Over a lifetime of public service, stretching over half a century, he devoted every measure of his being to the service of our country and people. Under his stewardship, Singapore navigated external as well as domestic changes and overcame multiple crises. Mr. Lee spoke often of the need to keep Singapore exceptional. He was exceptional himself in his devotion, his selflessness, and his dedication to serve. We owe him a great debt of gratitude. I am grateful that Mr. Lee and the more experienced ministers will continue to serve in my cabinet. They will provide continuity as I renew and strengthen the team with new members. One of my key priorities is to identify and persuade younger Singaporeans, men and women in their 30s and 40s, to join our team. So I call out tonight to all my fellow citizens, help me to provide Singaporeans with the government they deserve. Let us make a difference and serve our nation together. Singapore's position is strong, but the world around us is in flux. For 30 years since the Cold War ended, we enjoyed unprecedented peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific. Unfortunately, that era is over. It will not return. Now we face the world of conflict and rivalry. The great powers are competing to shape a new, yet undefined global order. This transition will be marked by geopolitical tensions as well as protectionism and rampant nationalism everywhere. It will likely stretch for years, if not decades. As a small country, we cannot escape these powerful cross-currents. As an open economy, our livelihoods will be hit when multilateralism fractures. As a diverse society, we will be vulnerable to external influences that tug us in different directions.